Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my channel, Diary of a Mind Alchemist. Today I want to talk about mental magic. Now, what is mental magic? Well, let me first start off by saying that magic itself is mental. Okay? Magic is nothing more than manifesting something physically through the power of your mind. That's all magic is. And when I talk about mental magic, I'm talking about thoughts that people are sending to you, emotions that people are sending to you, like just pretty much magic that has to do with fucking with your mind. You know what I mean? They just fucking with your mind. They sending you thoughts. They sending you emotions. And they want you to believe that it's yours. You know, they could be sending you thoughts to unalive you. They want you to unalive yourself. They want you to be oppressed. You know, they want you to act out of character. You know, it could be like all kind of crazy thoughts. Negative thoughts that they're sending to you, or emotional states, you know, that they're sending to you, you know, wanting you to feel negative, irritable, depressed and stuff. And I got motivated to make this video because, you know, they was trying to do some mind fuckery to me. They tried to all the time. Like, they really do. They really do. And it's like, I peep it, you know what I'm saying? I alchemize it, transmute that energy, and then, you know, go about my business. But there was a time when I wasn't aware, you know, of this. And, you know, they were successful. You know, I was in a lower vibration, and I was an easy target for them, you know, but not anymore. Anyway, I was at the supermarket and I was, you know, going into my car. It was an older lady that was next to me, you know, putting groceries in her car. And she was close to my car, and I'm like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, like, I just want to go home. I don't feel like waiting for her, you know. Like, she could have, like, put the cart, like, in front of the trunk of her car, like most people do, and put the groceries in. But no, she was, like, right next to my car, you know, on the side doing it. So I was like, you know what? I had these thoughts, like, just pull out, you know, fuck her, just pull out. And I'm like, this is not me. I know this is not me because I don't think like that. You know, I am generally a nice person, and I respect my elders, you know, for the most part. You know, I will, you know, put them in their place in a nice way if I need to, respectfully. But you know, I was like, this is not me. I knew this was not my thoughts, because I don't even think like that towards no elderly person, and not even in general. You know what I mean? I'm not like that. So I knew that wasn't my thoughts. And I was like, okay, see, there's these stink assholes, these nasty, dirty, raggedy pieces of poop, you know, who just don't have anything else better to do with their life than try to go ahead and fuck with my mind. And I'm like, no, I reject these thoughts. I know these are not mine. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait for that lady to be done. I ain't in no rush, you know. So I just sat there, and it didn't take her long. And, you know, when she was out of the way, I pulled out and I drove off. But that's what happens with mental magic. They will put a thought in your mind, And an emotion in you, they send that energy towards you. They're thinking these negative thoughts and they're sending it towards you. And if you are not aware that this is what's being done, you're going to accept those thoughts as your own. You're going to accept those emotions as your own. And if you are weak-minded, you will accept that thought and emotion, and you will behave in whatever way those emotions that were sent to you are, and you will think those thoughts and you will accept them as your own. And you have to really be aware of yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to know your energy. That is key. That is very important, because in mental magic, and that's what makes it so effective, is that it's all in your head. They will send you negative thoughts, negative emotions. Sometimes it's their own negative thoughts and emotions that they're just projecting onto you. They're sending that energy out to you. Because thoughts are energy. Emotions are energy. And when they are trying to fuck with your mind through mental magic, they are sending you specific thoughts and specific emotions. They're thinking about you. You are their target. When they're thinking about you, they're thinking about what kind of thoughts they want you to think and what kind of emotions they want you to have, what kind of disposition they want you to have. And they're imagining these thoughts going to you. They are focused on you and sending that energy to you. And if you are unaware, you're going to believe that those thoughts and those feelings are yours. I have been a victim of this for a very long time and did not know that this was not me. I wasn't aware of it. You know, I would be going off on people, just spazzing out, you know, and then afterwards it's like, what the fuck, you know? Like, was it really that serious? You know what I'm saying? Making people cry and stuff, and, you know, I'm like, why? Why did I overreact? Or why did I go off so hard on this person? Or, you know, I had feelings of depression, and, you know, there was a time when I was suicidal. I did not want to live. You know, I thought that I was just useless, that I had no value or worth, and that I'm just taking up space on this planet. And I used to think of ways to die. I would be driving home from work, and I would be thinking like, well, what if I drove into a brick wall? Would I die instantly? Like, or maybe I'd just get a bunch of sleeping pills and just take the whole bottle, you know? I would think about stuff like this. I even thought about paying somebody to kill me. Like, this is real talk here, okay? Real talk. I thought about driving over a bridge, but then I was like, I don't want to drown. Like, I don't want to die. I want to die instantly. I don't want, you know, to suffer when I die. And I used to think about this all the time. And I was actually scared to commit suicide because I thought I was such a flunky and a failure that I would fuck that up. And I would end up being hooked onto a machine the rest of my life. So, yeah, I didn't realize that people were doing mental magic on me to make me feel that way. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of other things involved that caused me to feel that way. But it was definitely some mental magic that was being done, and I didn't even realize it. There were people that wanted me to commit suicide. They wanted me out of here. But God, but God, oh, the divine is awesome. All of the years that these people have attacked me through dark magic, all the death spells and all of these wicked, evil plots against my life, wanting me to self-delete. God had other plans. And I am so thankful for my relationship with the divine, because that's the only reason why I'm still here today. No weapon that is formed against me shall prosper, and any weapon that my enemies form against me will be stopped, blocked, and turned around and used against them. Ashe. All right. But anyway, I'm very familiar with mental magic. All the years that I hated myself, that I wanted to self-delete, that I behaved out of character, the mental and emotional instability, I'm not going to say all of it was mental magic. Part of it was my own instability and my own mental and emotional instability due to the abuse that I experienced, as a child. Which set the stage for me to be an easy target for dark magic, for mental magic. Because when you already have been broken down mentally and emotionally, it makes it very easy for people to attack you. Like I was saying in my Awakening to Dark Magic series, one of those videos in that series, I think it was part 1 of that series, From Victim to Victor. We all have a magnetic field. Some people call it an aura that surrounds us. Everything in creation has that. And it is magnetic. It attracts and repels. And when that magnetic field that is around us, it is actually like a form of protection, protecting us from certain energies. But when it is compromised, when it is weakened, and trauma weakens our magnetic field. It weakens that protection, that energetic protection severely, And when you've been abused, it weakens your magnetic field. It weakens that energetic protection, that force field that surrounds you, that magnetic field that surrounds you. It weakens it, and it makes it very easy for negative energies to attack you. And that's what has been going on my whole life. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. And if it wasn't for the divine, I wouldn't be here. I would not be making these videos. I would not be talking about this subject today. And I just thank the divine. I am so thankful. I am so thankful for my relationship with the divine. The divine saved my life, because I know I would not be here. I would have self-deleted eventually. I would have had the courage to self-delete. Eventually. But the divine and my ancestors, I have to give them credit too. I have to give them credit, because my ancestors have been with me and they've saved me from many incidents where I could have been out of here. I know I'm going off topic, but it's my video, so I can navigate it however the fuck I want. Okay, if you don't like it, you can turn it on. But this message will be for the people that need to hear it, and they'll stay tuned. So I wanted to mention an incident that happened years ago in my 20s, a long time ago. I like to party a lot when I was in my 20s. Every weekend I go to the club, and I will be high and drunk every weekend. And I will be driving that way. It was only, listen, the only reason why I am here is because of the divine and my ancestors, because there were times when I don't even remember driving. I just remember waking up and being home. But there was this one incident. I remember I was driving home from the club. I was on the highway, and it was no cars on the highway at all. And I blacked out behind the wheel. And I heard a voice yelling for me to wake up, just in time to swerve the car away from one of those cement overpass. I think, is that what they call them? Overpass pillars. You know how you're on a highway and you have I think it's called an overpass, where it's cars driving above you across the highway, and you have those pillars that's holding it up. I almost crashed into one of them, like head on. And this was, well, no, they might have had airbags, but my car, I had a 1976 Cutlass Supreme. My car was old, and they didn't have no airbags in those cars. And I don't even know if I had my seatbelt on, but I don't think I did. But I heard a voice yell for me to wake up, just in time. Like, I was seconds from crashing into that cement overpass, or whatever type of material that is. Seconds away from crashing into it. I swerved away from it, just in enough time to keep myself from crashing into it. And I got back on the highway and got home safely. I know that was one of my ancestors. And I thank you, whoever you are. I don't know which one it was, but I just want to thank you for that. You saved my life. Thank you. But, you know, if it wasn't for the divine and my ancestors, I wouldn't be here. I would not be here today. And I'm not going to say that my enemies are fully responsible for that incident, or, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that makes decisions. But when these people do mental magic, they influence your decisions. They your weaknesses, your vices, they encourage. You know what I'm saying? You have those shows like the cartoons and stuff where you have like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. Like your enemies, those the people that are doing mental magic, they act as that devil on your shoulder. They tell you, go ahead, get drunk, get high, go in your car, drive. You know what I mean? And if you're weak in your mind, and I was definitely weak in my mind, and I didn't have any type of self-discipline. And so, I would get these thoughts and I would just act on it. And, thinking that it was me. When a lot of times I was being influenced to do certain things. And I take accountability for the decisions that I made. But I want people to understand that mental magic fucks with your mind and your emotions. You still have free will, of course. You have free will to accept or reject these thoughts and emotions. But a lot of people, because they don't know that this type of thing exists, they simply accept these thoughts and these emotions as their own. And so it's really important, really, really, really important to know yourself. And if you are someone who, has certain vices, has certain weaknesses, it's going to be easy for you to be manipulated. So I would say, for those of you who have these strong weaknesses that make it difficult, or that will make it difficult for you to resist these thoughts and emotions, that you would, work on yourself, get the help that you need. If you need to go to a professional, if you have addictions, if you have, mental health issues, if you're suffering from depression, whatever it is, if you feel like you have certain issues, anger management issues, whatever it is, and you feel like you need help with that thing, go ahead and get help, because I'm telling you, you need to do that for yourself anyway. The divine doesn't want us to be in these negative energies. We're supposed to be evolving. We're supposed to be becoming the best versions of ourselves, not staying in some low negative energy. So if you have these issues, they need to be worked on. Okay. It's only going to make you a stronger person, and it's going to be helpful to help you to resist mental magic, to know the difference between your thoughts and the thoughts that are being projected onto you, that are being sent to you by your enemies. One of the things that helped me, and I know this isn't for everybody, so if it resonates with you, if it's something that you would want to try, if you haven't done this before, then go. And even if you have, you might want to make it like habitual. Meditation has really helped me to ground myself, to become more mentally and emotionally stable. And I love to meditate outside, but unfortunately where I live at, it's wintertime and it's cold, and ain't nobody trying to be outside in the cold meditating. No. So I haven't been doing it as much as I was doing, but I've done it enough to where I am in a really good place right now, emotionally, mentally. I'm grounded, and so I am, and I'm also self-aware. Meditation can help you to become self-aware, and I know the difference between my thoughts and when someone is sending me thoughts. I know the difference between my emotions and when someone is sending me negative emotions. And now when stuff does come through, I just quickly reject it. Like, nope, these are not my thoughts. These are not my emotions. I don't accept them as mine. And I'm sending them right back to whoever they belong to, because these are your thoughts and your emotions. You're not going to project them onto me. No. And I reject it, and I go about my business. But that's why it's important to know yourself, to know your emotions, to know your mind, how you think, how you feel, how you behave. And if you are unstable emotionally, mentally, it's going to be difficult, because you're going to be an easy target for mental magic. And people that know this, they know your nature. They know how you act. And so it's going to be easy for them to control you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're generally in that energy anyway. And so it's going to be very easy for them to control you. And that's why it's important to work on yourself and to strengthen your magnetic field. I mentioned in another video, the Awakening to Dark Magic series, part 1, from victim to victor, that we all have an energetic field of energy that surrounds us. We are all magnetic beings. We attract and repel energy, okay? And everything in existence is magnetic. We all have this force field of energy around us, and everything in existence has a force field of energy around it. And these force fields can be compromised by our energy, or like positive energy or negative energy. It affects our force field. It can weaken it or it can strengthen it. And when our force field is weakened through negative thoughts, negative emotions, negative actions, just being in a low vibrational state, it will cause our force field, that force field of protection, that magnetic field that surrounds us, to be weakened and make us an easy target for dark magic. And when people are doing mental magic, that stuff can hit you easily or have a stronger impact on you when your magnetic field is weak. Like when my magnetic field was weak and they were sending me all of those negative thoughts and emotions, I was receiving it because I was already in a low vibration anyway. And so it just kind of strengthened the thoughts that I already had about myself. The feelings that I already had, it just strengthened it. And, it was hard for me to resist because I was already feeling low about myself anyway. But now that I am in a higher vibration, generally the stuff doesn't even, hit me. Like most of the time, I know my enemies are sending me stuff all the time. Most of the time I don't even get it. Sometimes like stuff creeps through, like today or whatever. But when you are in a high vibration, generally that stuff really doesn't hit you. If it does, it's very minimal. It's not even close to their intentions, the intent of the practitioner or the person that is sending you that magic, that dark magic. A lot of times, especially if you have a bunch of enemies, it will come through stronger. Even if you have a high vibration, if you have like covens of people, coming against you, it might peek, some of that stuff might peek through a little bit. Nothing to the extent where they intended, but it might peek through a little bit. In my case, because I am here to help people, the divine allows certain things to happen. Nothing major, but certain things to happen so that I can use mind alchemy to overcome whatever it is, and then I can share that information with others. Okay. But it is very important to work on yourself and to raise your vibration. And I talk about ways to raise your vibration on part 3 of the Awakening to Dark Magic series. Take this child. What's the subtitle? It's part 3. It's part 3 to the Awakening to Dark Magic series. Check that out. But raising your vibration is key, and knowing yourself is key. So if you know yourself, you know your how you think, how you act, what your general disposition is, then you will be able to tell when something opposite of that comes towards you in the form of a thought or emotion. And then you can just reject it. You don't have to accept it. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean you have to receive it if it's a negative thought. And just because you receive a negative emotion, you're feeling a certain type of way, doesn't mean that you have to receive it. Like if you know that you were in a good mood and then all of a sudden you start feeling irritable for no reason, or you're angry for no reason, or you're sad for no reason, and you were just a few seconds ago in a good mood, that's some mental magic that somebody's trying to send towards you. And they're trying to affect your energy in a negative way. And so you have to be strong mentally and emotionally to resist this. Because if you have any enemies like mine, they will constantly be doing this. And so you have to be strong enough to resist and fight and say, no, this is not my energy. I don't receive this. These are not my thoughts. These are not my emotions. I reject them. And I send them back to whoever they belong to, because I'm not taking it. It's not mine. I reject it right now. And that's how you have to be. And you might have to do that over and over and over and over and over again. And you might get tired of it. Like, I'm tired of this. But this is a spiritual war that we are in. And that's what people have to realize. That we're not fighting just against people. You know, there are spiritual energies, okay, that are coming against us. All right? And these physical people, see, a lot of people are getting into this stuff now. And so they look at it as a way to come against people that they don't like and not have to go to prison for it. They can try to unalive somebody through dark magic and nobody will know it's them. They can, cause somebody to harm themselves, using mental magic or whatever, and nobody's going to know it's them. So they hide in the shadows doing this stuff, thinking that they won't be caught. But God sees everything. God knows everything. And so these people are not going to remain hidden. God's going to shine its light on them, and they are going to be exposed. They are going to be exposed. And that's why I'm making these videos, because I want people to be aware of some of the tactics based on some of the experiences that I've had. And hopefully I can help people out there so that they can defend and protect themselves against these devils. So you have to be strong. You have to be mentally and emotionally strong. And like I said, if you are generally in a negative disposition, then that's something that you need to work on. In whatever way, you feel is going to be helpful. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. Talk to the divine. Ask the divine, what can I do to raise my vibration? Now, I did mention some stuff in that video that I spoke of earlier, the Awakening to Dark Magic series part 3. If you want to watch it, fine. If you don't, fine. But go to the divine. Oh, I'm rhyming. I'm rhyming, y'all. I'm freestyling. I don't even know it. Anyway, I'm so corny. Yeah, just go to the divine. When you are ever confused and don't know what to do, the divine is always there to help. Always. You don't have to be confused. You don't have to be in a state of hopelessness or helplessness. If you have a relationship with the divine, with the all, with that being that is the creator of everything that exists, then you have all the answers that you need within you if the divine lives in you. And if you don't have a relationship with the divine, I urge you to develop one, because the divine is the only one who can help you to be successful in this game called life. But yeah, anyway, you have to know yourself, because these people can send you thoughts. These people can send you emotions. And if you're not aware, you will be manipulated. There's probably things that you've done and you think back on it like, why the hell did I do that? Like, you might have woken up to somebody like, what the fuck why the hell did I do this? Why did I sleep with this person? And it could, I'm not saying it is, but it could have been mind manipulation. Somebody sending you thoughts and you not being aware of yourself. You're not being aware of your own thought, the difference between your thoughts and thoughts of someone else. And you just acted on it. So knowing yourself is very important. Knowing your thoughts, how you think, how you act, your normal disposition. Being disciplined is very important, because if you're not disciplined, it will be very easy for mind magic to work on you. Very easy. Especially if you have vices, especially if you have certain weaknesses, you will be an easy target for mind magic. There's people that know about your weaknesses, and if they're doing mind magic on you, it will be very easy, if you're not a disciplined person, to get you back into those behaviors if you have been working on yourself. And if you haven't, you're just going to be an easy target. Either way, if you're not disciplined, you're going to be an easy target. So it's very important to work on being disciplined, because you have to be strong mentally in order to resist mental magic. You have to be strong in your mind. And, it's going to take time. Okay? But you can't give up. You can't give up on yourself. Work on those things that you know that you need to work on. and be serious about it. If you know you have certain weaknesses, you need to work on those weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with saying there's something wrong with me. There's nobody on this planet that is perfect. And it doesn't make you a weak person to say I have a problem. What's weak is pretending that you don't have issues, pretending that you're perfect, pretending that you have nothing wrong with you. That's weak. It takes a strong person to say, you know what? I got an issue here. I have this insecurity. I have this vice. I have this weakness. That takes strength because your ego doesn't want to admit to anything that will be considered to be looked down upon by others. So it takes strength to do that. And we want to protect ourselves. We want to keep ourselves, our energy safe. And the only way to do that is we have to work on ourselves. Okay? Because dark magic does not have power on you when you are in a high vibration, when you are walking in a righteous path, when you are, living your life according to the will of the divine. You have surrendered yourself to God's will, and living a life of love and righteousness doesn't mean that you're perfect, because ain't nobody perfect on this planet. I don't care how upright a person may appear to be, ain't nobody perfect. And it's not about being perfect. We do our best to walk a righteous path, and that's all we can do. We treat people the way we want to be treated. We walk in love, right? We work on ourselves. We work on becoming the best version of ourselves. We fall down, we get back up, we keep going. Doesn't matter how many times we fall down, as long as we keep getting up and we keep going until we cross that finish line. That's the work. And when we have the divine in us, we have all the help that we need. All right? So, this spiritual walk is not easy. It's not for the weak. And this message is for people who actually are on the spiritual path or desire to be on that spiritual path. For those people who are just carnal and of the world, these messages are not for you. Because you're on a low vibration, and if you want to stay that way, nothing that I say is going to help you anyway. Because that dark magic you're going to be an open vessel to it because you're not protected. But for those who are on the path of righteousness, on the path of, light and love, and just wanting to live a decent life, in harmony with the divine, and live according to the divine's will, this message is for you. And all my messages are for you. Work on yourself. That's going to be your protection. Once you have raised your vibration, you're going to, and once you have worked on yourself and gotten to know yourself, we can't get to know ourselves if we're busy all the time. That's why I said meditation, but not everybody's into that. But not everybody's into meditation. So just go to the divine and ask, how can I get to know myself better? What can I do? And the divine will help you out. Because not everything that things that I may do might not resonate with everybody. You gotta find what works for you. I think meditation is good because it just gives you a chance to block out the world and just be alone with yourself. You know what I'm saying? I think there's many ways to meditate. Like, you don't have to be like, and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be all extra like that. Meditation is just basically, just thinking quietly. You can just sit there and just start talking to the divine. But definitely, I think working on yourself, working on, freeing yourself from those vices, if you have any, whatever your weaknesses are, just working on yourself and bettering yourself and becoming more of a righteous person is going to help you. It's going to help you. Because once you raise your vibration, it's easy to know the difference between your thoughts and someone else's thoughts. It's going to be very easy. When you're in a low vibration, it's hard because you're already in that energy. You know what I'm saying? You're already in that energy. So, you know what I mean? You're not going to be able to distinguish, between your thoughts and someone's thoughts that is being sent towards you, or someone's emotions that's being sent towards you, because you already on a low vibration. So you already in that energy that they're sending. You're a match to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be hard to distinguish. But when you raise your vibration, it will be easy because you're not in that frequency. And even if, we have those days, we all have those days where we might be in a lower frequency, and that's okay. You know what I mean? As long as we don't stay in that energy. We feel what we feel, we process it, we work on it, and then we raise our vibration, we transmute it. You know what I'm saying? But even when you might be in a low energy one day, you're still gonna know because you already you're not one to stay in that energy. You've gotten to the point where you know how to transmute energy. You know what I'm saying? You know how to raise your vibration. So you're not gonna stay in that energy, and you hear some kind of crazy thought or some negative thought, you're gonna be like, no, that's not me, because that's not how I think. I don't think like that anymore. I don't feel like that anymore. That's not how I operate. That's not my energy, and then you can reject it. So raising your vibration is essential. Okay. And if like I said, I'm not trying to promote my video or anything. If you want to watch it, the Awakening to Dark Magic series part 3, where I talk about how to protect your energy, you can watch it. If not, like the laws of Ma'at, look that up online. The laws of Ma'at, those are where the 10 Commandments come from. Okay, those the ancient Kemetic people. That comes from the ancient Kemetic people. The 42 laws of Ma'at. Ma'at is a goddess of balance. Okay, and order. So these laws are what the ancient Kemetic people live by. And these are laws that, if the whole entire planet lived by the laws of Ma'at, we wouldn't be having this fucked up world that we're in now. You know what I'm saying? There wouldn't be all these wars and injustices going on. You know what I'm saying? This is an ego-based world that we're living in. And as long as we are in the ego, we will always suffer. But anyway, check that out. The 42 laws of Ma'at, that will give you a blueprint on righteous living. Okay, and that will help you to raise your vibration. Okay, I think they have like a modern version of it, because that was thousands of years ago. And a lot of the stuff some of the stuff that's in those laws that they talking about have absolutely nothing to do with society for today. But the what's the word I'm thinking about? What is the word I'm thinking about? Even though it does not, some of the things are not relatable to what's going on in society today. The intent behind it, or what's the word I'm thinking of? Goodness, I can't think of the word. But child, I hate when that. What is the word I'm thinking of? It may not be I'm gonna make up something. And I know that's not one of the laws. I'm just making up something, like it might say don't covet your neighbor's herd or something. Don't covet the herd of your neighbor or something. Like most of us, we're not farmers and stuff like that. So, you know, that's not going to relate to majority of us. But what? Gosh, I can't think of the word. But the overall meaning of that law is not to covet. You know what I mean? It don't matter whether or not, you got cows or not, or herds or not. It's talking about coveting. And so you know that you shouldn't covet. You shouldn't want what somebody else has. You shouldn't be jealous of what other people have and want it for yourself. So you take the overall meaning. There's a word for that, but I just can't think of it at the time. But you take the overall meaning of what the law is saying, and make it apply to, today's standards. You know what I'm saying? I hope I made sense. Anyway, yeah. So, those things are important. In raising your vibration, righteous living will help you to raise your vibration, and which in turn will strengthen your energy field and will help you to resist these mental magic thoughts and emotions that people send to you. It will help you to distinguish your thoughts from someone else's thoughts, and emotions, and it will protect you. Okay, so you know what, I just thought about something. The divine has revealed a lot to me as far as the people who are currently trying to do dark magic against me. I say trying because, it's backfiring on them. It ain't hitting me, but I know they still trying. And it's funny because it's like the divine, before I even knew that these people were involved, it's like the divine was leaving me clues. But I was under such strong mental magic that I didn't even, it wasn't until after I was freed from that I started putting the pieces together. If you have suspicions about people that you think might be doing dark magic against you, the divine will give you clues. The divine will let you know, clues or not. But you might think back on stuff like me, and be like, wait a minute, I remember this. And that'll be the divine's way of giving you confirmation. It doesn't matter if you have physical evidence or not. The important thing is that the divine has revealed it to you. And if you don't know, you can ask the divine. Or if you have a relationship with the divine and you're trying to live your life in a righteous way, you're not a wicked person, trying to harm people, and you're trying to live a decent life, and you have the divine living in you, and you suspect that there's some people that's doing dark magic against you, you can ask the divine. The divine will reveal it to you. It doesn't matter if you don't have any physical evidence. As long as you know who to leave the fuck alone and who to keep out of your life. Because you don't want these people in your life. You want to stay as far away from them as possible. But anyway, I'm going to end this message I hope that it was helpful to someone out there. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. And the message was clear and you were able to understand what I was saying. And hopefully it gave you an understanding of mental magic. You know, that mental magic is real, and that just because you think a certain thought or feel a certain emotion doesn't mean that it's yours. Okay? So, I hope that you guys, if you have not already been doing the work, that you will do the work. That you will do the work to work on yourselves and become the best version of yourself. Work on your evolution, your spiritual evolution. Talk to the divine and ask the divine what you need to work on. You know, work on raising your vibration. Okay? Raising your vibration is your protection. It's going to strengthen your magnetic field. Your magnetic field is like your spiritual skin. Okay? Like your skin protects the inside of your body. Your magnetic field protects you. And when you keep it strong through living in a high vibrational state, it will protect you from those low vibrating energies that come towards you. But if it's not, if your magnetic field is weak and you're living in a low vibrational state, it will make your magnetic field weak, and it will make it very easy for these negative energies to penetrate and affect you. Okay, so again, I hope that this message has been helpful to someone out there, and I will talk to you guys in the next message. Peace.